build today. I wanted to do a quick video. I know I haven't posted anything for a little while, and there's been several reasons for it. I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm back at work now, so recording has taken a little bit of a backseat, but I am still doing weekends mainly. Unfortunately, last weekend I couldn't do anything because I was at a wedding. Well, I mean, that's not unfortunate. I'm very pleased for my friends who got married, but it just meant that I couldn't do anything else with the zoo. So I wanted to give you a little look at what I have been doing in some of the other weekends, and also a little bit of a speed build at the end of this video. So hopefully not too long a video today. But it'll give you an idea of what's going on and where I'm up to with this particular build. So what I've done is I've actually been to Chester Zoo in the last few weeks, and I took lots and lots of photographs of the areas that I hadn't done. So a lot of this bit is what I've been working on initially. So I haven't done inside the enclosures, as you can see, yet, but I will come back to them. But I have been focusing a lot on the buildings around here. Particularly the zebra house here, which now looks very, very nice and accurate to as close as I can get it within game. And we do have this bird hide down here, which is the Ronald and Kathleen Pryor bird hide. So again, as I said, I need more foliage, and also this is a netted exhibit here, so I need to put a net over the top of that. We do have another little hut here, which doesn't actually have anything going on with it. It's got some scrim or something over the windows. You can't really see into it in real life. And I also did down here where the other house is. This is the rowan antelope, I think. So as you can see, it is usable by staff. So parts of this are staff room. There's another room here. I can't remember what it is, whether it's a staff room or a keeper's hut or whatever. But these are usable. A lot of these buildings are usable. And again, over this side, the entrance for the animals, so the animals can use it as well. But that's all up to date now and looks a lot better than it did. What else have I done? I've done this little hut down here. Quite pleased with this one. It's it doesn't look as though it's used anymore. It's on the edge of this particular enclosure and a bit of waste ground over here. It looks as though this used to be an enclosure and isn't anymore. It's a little bit overgrown in there now in real life. As you can see, we do have the monorail in. I decided we needed to take a snapshot of the zoo of when I was going to build it, and it was the particular time when the new lions enclosure had been built, which is over there. But the monorail was still running, so that is the area that I decided I was going to do. And anything now that I build will be based on current photographs and whatever I can get in Google Maps and that sort of thing. So I mentioned that I got a bit of a speed build for you, so I'll talk about my Burgers Zoo build, and I'll talk about the rest of the Chester Zoo build and where I'm up to and what's going on with it all. As I said, I've got loads and loads of new photographs, so a lot of this will be built in the next few weeks. But today we're going to focus on something a little more mundane. You may recognize it when I start building. If not, enjoy the speed build and I'll chat to you throughout that. So here comes the speed build. So hi again, here is the speed build. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about while I showed you this video. The first thing is my method of how I build my buildings and enclosures. And the second one is what I'm doing with my zoos, what's happening with Burgers, what's happening with Chester, and I'll go through that a little later. But first, I wanted to show you, if you look in the background there's some block walls on the floor, some little squares. That's how I start out with my buildings. So I plan my zoo before I start. A lot of people don't quite know how to start things or what to build first. With my zoos, because they're based on a real life zoo, I always put in where the enclosures are, where the buildings are, and I get the sizes from Google Maps, and they're accurate. So all the zoos I build are 100% scale accurate. So if it's a 10-meter building in real life, it's a 10-meter building in the zoo, in my recreation of it. You can see I'm looking at photos here. These are this is actually Google Maps. I do use my own photographs and I use Google Maps. Those are my two main references. There's a few others that I tend to use. There are a few zoo fan sites that I use. There's different ones. Some are more useful than others. But I do look at real photographs, and I look at my own photographs of what something looks like in order for me to recreate it. Now, because of the limitations in the game, that's not always available. I can't always put the correct window in or the correct door, and sometimes I need to fabricate my own. Sometimes I need to muddle through with the best that we've got. But overall, hopefully, I'm doing a good job of recreating the two zoos. So once I start out with that big block, it's almost like a sculptor trying to make a statue. So you start out with a big piece of marble, and then you sort of roughly chip away at it, and you get a rough shape of what you're building, and then you refine it. And that's exactly what I do, where I start out with the big block to start with, of this is the shape, and this is exactly where it is in the zoo. But then what I'll do is I'll build it very roughly as a big square building, and then I'll start adding the little details. So this wall moves forward a bit, this one moves back a bit, we've got these windows here, and it's like starting with something that's quite rough and ready, and then refining and just putting the bits in. And that's the way I tend to work. So, I mean, a lot of people on some of the forums that I read say, oh, I don't know how to start, or I don't know where to plan. Because my zoos are based on real zoos, it's easy for me to know where things are going, but it's harder to get the scale exactly right, so that's why I tend to plan everything and put everything in, so I'll know which paths work and which don't. There's a lot of things with my building, like this particular door, where I have to build my own because you just haven't got the option in the game. It's just not there. So if I'm trying to recreate something, a lot of the things are hand built like this. And it's trying to use things that look a little bit like hinges or door handles to make things work. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was my Burgers Zoo build, and also Chester Zoo build. So I started out with my Chester Zoo build. I built that for a long while, and then I stopped with the Chester Zoo and I went on to Burgers. And it's now come back to Chester Zoo, and I haven't finished with the Burgers. There's a lot to do, but it's the same issue I had with Chester's initially. I started building Chester Zoo. I got to a point where I ran out of information. So a lot of the old part of the zoo is on Google Maps. A lot of the new part of the zoo, where the islands is and the new boat ride, isn't on Google Maps. So you've got a top-down view, but you've got no street view. And it's the street view that I rely on more than anything. The thing that's changed is I've now got photographs of Chester Zoo, because I went a week or two ago, and I took lots and lots of photographs of all the things that I hadn't built. So it's allowing me to go back to Chester Zoo and get that a lot further down the line towards completion. I haven't finished with Burgers. I've reached the same issue I had with Chester, in that a lot of the street view things I've already built, and it's harder for me now to build things like the pathway that the gorillas take to get to their enclosure. You just can't see it on Google Maps, and it's something that I would need to go to the zoo and see for myself. Now, at the moment, I've got no plans to go over, simply because of the way we are in the world with coronavirus, and I really don't want to be on a plane or anything, or on a boat with other people at the moment. So there are no initial plans. I did have some help from some people at the zoo, and they sent me some information, but again, I've used that now, and I need more information, either from the zoo or from people that go to the zoo. I've had a few people saying, oh, I'm going to the zoo, do you want anything? I have mentioned to some people what I need, and I haven't actually had the photographs back that I really need, or the plans. So at the moment with the Burger Zoo, things like, for example, the ocean area, you can walk through it on Google Street View, but it's very difficult to work out where the pathways go because the Street View isn't complete. So I need like a map of the inside of the ocean area, and some more photographs of that area would really help. And it's just things like that. So I haven't run out of things to do. I've still got quite a lot that I can work on. It was just the opportunity came to go back to Chester Zoo, and I took the opportunity to go and take the photographs. So here we are, and it will allow me now to spend a lot of time on Chester Zoo, and hopefully get a lot of the islands finished, and some of the older parts of the zoo that I didn't get the first time. And I've already mentioned the areas around where the like the cranes are, and around where the rowan antelopes are. So there we go. You can see me fishing for a piece of scenery that I'd already built. There we go. Yeah, so that's it. So I've covered a little bit about how I start building, and it's block everything out, plan it out, know where your enclosures are going to go, know how big they are, know how wide your paths need to be at various bits, and then get as much information on the building as you can. If you're building real life buildings like I am, then there are lots of opportunities to look on Street View or go and visit the zoo, which is great because it gives money to the zoo. And then just take it from there, and then add the details as you can. Now, unfortunately, with this speed build, I didn't quite finish the building. I've done the front and I've done the side, which you will see in a second. I'll start working on that. I haven't done the back, and I haven't done the far side, so there's still two to do, but they're quite simplistic. One of them, the back side of this, isn't available to the public, so there are some bird enclosures at the back there, which I'll obviously need to build at some point. But I'm really pleased with going to the zoo. It was great to go back, and it was a good day out. And as I said, I've got lots and lots of more new information for this zoo. So it's all going to be coming soon. I will hope to try and at least build something every weekend. The videos will probably come once every 2 weeks for Chester Zoo or Burger Zoo, depending on which one I'm building. So look forward to those in the next couple of weeks. If you've got any questions on my builds or how I go about things, just drop them on the bottom of the video. I answer all my comments on the videos, and yeah, that's great. Things like this is a great thing that you can do. You can sink the doors into the wall, so it leaves the door handle showing. So I've now got 2 door handles, and this is one of the things I wish they put into the game. Door handles, hinges, little things like that, small pieces. We want some small pieces. There's a little railing that I'm going to build in a minute that I try and use the thin planks, and they're not small enough. It just doesn't work. They're not. I haven't got one that's short enough to build this diagonal piece, so I had to use some gutter, which is a lot chunkier than I wanted to, so it ends up looking like some industrial girder rather than a nice thin metal rail. But there you go. Anyway, I hope that you like this build, and I hope that you're pleased with me continuing with the 2 zoos. I am working on them both, and they will be both being built in the near future. Look forward to new videos on that. And that's about it. The video will end very shortly, and I'll be back soon to show you more new bits from Chester Zoo. My name's Backblast. I'll catch you next time. Oh, and thanks for watching, guys. Thank you.